Hello aspirants, looking at editorials and question bank for 9th November. The first editorial in the Hindu newspaper today is Waiting for Rahul. So this is regarding Rahul Gandhi, who he has been called up again to assume the party presidentship of Congress. He has been reluctant for years now. Still, he is hesitant. The reasons been many. Some feel that he does not have leadership skills also. He has his own visions, and the stalwarts in this Congress political party are also hesitant. They may feel that their positions will also be diminished. So there are many reasons. Also, if he becomes the party president, then he has to take the credits for the success and also the backlash for the failures. So these aspects are discussed. It's of no importance for us. Then the next editorial is the long battle for Raqqa. So Raqqa is a town in Syria which is under IS, Islamic State, and now a US-backed coalition comprising of Kurds and Arab fighters is advancing towards Raqqa, and they are provided air cover by US forces. So this coalition called Syrian Democratic Forces is supported by US, and in this Syrian Democratic Forces a faction is Kurds, and Kurds are enemies under Turkey. So Turkey considers this Kurdistan Workers Party as a terrorist organization because they are secessionists. They are demanding separate Kurdistan from themselves, which majorly consists of part of Turkey. And there is a spillover organization in Syria also of Kurds. So they are said to be a faction of Kurdistan Workers Party, which is a terrorist organization according to Turkey. So they cannot be part of this coalition here with US against a fight with IS. So this complicates the whole war against Islamic State. So presently we are having a war against IS taking place in Raqqa in Syria, and also another war which is continuing, which was in news earlier, is a war against IS in Mosul in Iraq. So here also and here on both fronts fight against IS has started. So this will also make it more difficult for them to defend these regions, and they will be defeated. So Iraqi forces are advancing towards Mosul, also supported by US, and here also the Syrian Democratic Forces, which is a coalition of various militia only, and Kurds, Arabs are major part of it. So there also USA is supporting with air cover. So this is the complicated nature of the whole war here. You can see these are the regions against under IS-2 which have gradually been taken over. Tal Abyad, Kobane, all these places which are shown here were also recaptured from IS, and Kurds played a major role here. So if Turkey does not support here, as it has also done earlier, then it will make the fight against IS complicated. This is Kurdistan, you can see here. Major part of it lies in Turkey, some regions in Syria, Iraq, Iran, Armenia. These are the regions where Kurds are in a majority, and they demand this as a separate nation called Kurdistan. So Turkey does not accept this demand and has called it a terrorist organization. So these are the two editorials. Next we look at the question bank. The lead article in today's paper, The Politics of Perceptions, is actually regarding the perception of poverty, deprivation or economic development, that how do people perceive it. So though poverty levels go down, people are not now under poverty levels, but still the deprivation perception is high. The reason being there that even the gap between the rich and poor increase. So comparatively you feel you are still poor. So those aspects are also there. So those sociological aspects are actually covered in that lead article. So according to me, it's okay. You can skip that too. Then the three articles on the perspective page. One is again regarding American elections about Trump, who has, as per the latest news, he has won the elections and will be the next president of USA too. The next article is on cow protection, Gau Rakshaks. Again, that is of history about what happened during Indira Gandhi's government, as they tried to attack the parliament too, but then this is of no relevance right now, so this can be skipped. The only article which we have picked up, which is also of little relevance, but since it is news, we'll cover it. This is regarding Tipu Sultan and the issue of Tipu Jayanti in Karnataka. That it should not be celebrated is what BJP is demanding. So that it's supposed to be celebrated on 10th November. So the question which we have framed is history related question, because Tipu Sultan is an historical figure. So Tipu Sultan, the Tiger of Mysore, has for long been applauded as the earliest freedom fighter against the British in India. Then why has the celebration of Tipu Jayanti turned controversial recently? Should Tipu Jayanti be celebrated? Clearly state your stand with justification. So it is again politics. In 2012, when B.S. Yediyurappa had left BJP and formed his own political party, at that time he had worn the headgear of Tipu Sultan, held a mock sword and had praised the virtues of Tipu Sultan. And now in 2016, when he has again joined BJP as the head of BJP faction, he is going to be the next chief minister if BJP comes to power. So he now talks completely against Tipu Sultan. He has said that if the government wins elections in Karnataka, we will ban Tipu Jayanti in 24 hours. So these are the statements coming up now. So we have to basically understand about Tipu Sultan. He was the Sultan of Mysore, the ruler of Mysore from 1750 to 1799, when in the 4th Anglo-Mysore War, while defending Seringamapatnam, he fell and died on the battlefield. So he has been called a martyr, or the first freedom fighter who fought against the Britishers in India, and he is praised for that. He understood the threat which Britishers posed to India during those times. This is much earlier, much before the revolt of 1857 too. So he understood that. He took the support of French and fought against the Britishers. He is also said to have pioneered the rocket artillery in the armed forces. So he is called the missile man as well. Then he had also modified the land revenue system in such a way that it helped in the growth of silk industry in Mysore. He had given rich endowments to the Hindu temples which were present in Mysore. Then he had also supported the Vodiyar ruling family, and they were the ones who presided over the 10-day Dasara festival which took place, grand celebrations in the Mysore kingdom during his times. So he was not actually against religion, but then there have been instances that is specifically pointed out as such is in Coorg and Mangalore, which are the adjoining border regions in Mysore. So when these regions were captured by Tipu Sultan, so these regions originally favored Britain. So Britishers were supported by them against Tipu Sultan. So when he captured these regions, there were atrocities committed here. Many people were killed and many were forcibly converted. The Christians in Mangalore forcibly converted to Islam, and even in Coorg. So these are the blots on his entire personality. So these have been highlighted now, and the BJP is presently protesting against celebration of Tipu Jayanti, calling him a Muslim bigot ruler. So there have been instances by various kings. So kings were warriors. They did fight in wars. There were atrocities also involved. But then those are not highlighted. So how should the personality be judged is another question. And specifically on the question of whether Tipu Jayanti should be celebrated or not, the article says no. Tipu Jayanti should not be celebrated, rather no Jayantis should be celebrated, because what all this results in is a particular caste or a community feeling that their leaders are being revered and others are left out. Then there are more demands for more Jayantis, so this complicates the whole scenario. So rather no Jayantis should be celebrated, should be the way ahead. So that is what is put forth. So that is regarding the present question. So that is it for today. You can download the PDF from the website. The link is provided in the description. Thank you.